Yo, what's up?
What's happening?
Back for another episode. Once again. Uh
Episode
once again.
86, to be exact.
It's 86. You know what I was thinking today? I was trying to remember which episode was this, but something that we was talking about. But I'm like, there's so many episodes, I can't really remember. They blend in so well.
I
Yeah, what's up with
remember
y'all
the
today?
shows. I remember the shows. It's just, saying, when you do so many shows, saying, on video, off video, I forget the number, but I do remember the shows, though.
hmm Man, thank y'all for tuning in once again. Hopefully our top fans join us today. Um, we appreciate y'all. We most definitely will appreciate the people who are listening to and watching this for the first time. But today's show is sponsored by Premier Window and Door. Thank you for sponsoring the show. But yeah, man, it's been a rough week, man. Real rough week.
Uh, had it? We lost to Black Panther, but you know, what else? What else happened this week?
Oh, so just the stuff that I'm seeing on the news. Of course, the Black Panther is like, wow, nobody knew. Nobody knew that. That's what I call being private about your personal life. That's what I like. That's what I aspire to be.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you 100,000% on that because for you to keep doing movies, like being able to do movies, time and time again, what I'm saying? Like blockbusters, like not just straight to DVD joints that a lot of people want to see. Like, he's talking about real movies, like, what I'm saying, the Avengers and the Five Bloods, like real big, huge movies. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? It's just crazy that you can keep it together and do what you got to do.
You know what? That Five Bloods movie, it wasn't designed for him to be in it a lot. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, did he take that role because he didn't really have to do much acting in it?
That's a very good point. I
Yeah.
ain't think about that, but that's a good point though. Like, it's super possible, um, that it worked out that way. And I don't know nobody that knew. You know what I'm saying? So of course, I'm sure his friends in Hollywood or whatever. I'm sure they probably knew. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Spike Lee knew. That's why he kind of wrote him or wrote him in
Yeah.
for a role where he wouldn't like be so taxing on him.
Yeah. Wow. Man. Wow. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. It's just sad. Hey, but I'm tired of people posting that video talking about the interview that he had on the red carpet when he was in Avengers after Part 1 of Endgame, and he talking about I'm dead. Like, no, that's from the movie. He ain't talking about himself that he dead, man. People taking it too far.
People like to the conspiracy theories, man. You know how it go.
You're right.
You know how it go.
Right.
So yeah, man. Amanda said a very inspiring story of strength and persistence. That's an understatement. You know what I'm saying? Like we all got jobs to do. You know what I'm saying? Like we all got stuff that we enjoy doing or whatever. But um, you know how like everybody got complaints and everybody got you know um, uh, stuff that they wish was better or whatever. Like, but then when you see some stuff like that, like, what I'm saying, he a star, so he could have made a big deal of it, had like an announcement. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't knocking nobody that do that. Like, what I'm saying, Alex Trebek or whatever, who had cancer and all this stuff. So, um,
hmm
but to just keep it quiet completely like that, that's pretty impressive, man.
Yeah, I mean, certain things you don't want everybody to know. So if people would have known that, maybe he probably wouldn't have got a role. Maybe he probably wouldn't have got the Black Panther role. Who knows? So,
Yeah.
but then at the same time, something personal as that, like you're stage 4, nothing, basically you're not coming back from that. And he probably didn't want to have anybody try to give him any pity, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, he just wanted to keep everything normal.
That's that's true too. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Amanda said I watched my mom battle breast cancer. The big C is no joke, life shattering for sure. You know what I'm saying? It's it ain't no joke, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what stage it is. Like it ain't no joke. So I agree with you. It is a tough week for that. You know what I'm saying? Amongst everything that's going on in the world. It's tough, man.
Hey, the other stuff is
It's just tough. Straight up.
the other stuff is the other stuff. I don't want to say quote unquote, I don't want to say quote unquote normal, but you know that other stuff been going on. You know,
For a little while.
forever, forever.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is what it is. Hey, but since we're talking about actors and movies, hey, they talk about the movies about to go up. Would you pay damn near $50 date to go to the movies? Is your pockets worth it?
No, that's not financially a good. I don't feel personally that that's a good financially smart thing to do. I ain't no a $50 movie date. Oh no, I can't.
No.
That's not really for me.
Like I know there was some places offering 50 cent or something like that. I still want to go, especially you got.
AMC doing like 50 cent movies or something like that.
Well, shout out to them. But
I mean, hey, look, we don't do throwback sponsors often, but when they do our charity event, you know what I'm saying? When you put on the charity event and they're the first people to stand out, I know they're going through it right now, but shout out to AMC, man. I hope y'all recover.
hey, when you help the kids get book bags throughout the city, you most definitely a brand that I'll continue to support. But when the prices wasn't 50 cent, but I going on like that? Not really, not really. But now you got the Corona thing going on. You got to lay back in the lounge chair after somebody that sat there, and you paying $10 a ticket. I ain't. That's too much to pay to risk it. Man. I'd rather go to the drive-in.
If you want, yeah, that's for first. Amanda said $50 for what? A date to the movies? So I don't think she would it either. I don't think she would it. And then your mom said fire stick. It sounds like a fire stick type of date, which I agree completely.
That's my favorite type of dates.
We can get those. You still get the same dollar store snacks that you would get before you go to the movies. You know what I'm saying? Like same. You know what I'm saying? It's all the same tips and tricks. You know what I'm saying? You just don't gotta hide it nowhere. You just can walk in like a normal. Like a normal human, man, to see your own living room and watch whatever movie you want to.
Right. Instead of going to Pinecrest and trying to order a steak while you're watching a movie, you can cook a steak on the grill and have your candies and your popcorn for less than $20.
Yeah. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't know about movies going up that much. I don't know who's gonna be with it, but yeah, financially, I don't think that'd be a good thing. What throughout this quarantine, like we done talked about it a little bit. Like personally, B, how do you feel about your finances throughout the quarantine? Like you feel like you've been doing good saving, you feel like you've been doing good playing with the stock market, you feel like you've been doing good, or maybe just frivolous out here. Like how you feel?
Okay, at the beginning of the quarantine, I was strict on, not spending anything, right? So as soon as we got blessed with those stimulus checks, I put I put $800. I think I put like $800 on a credit card. No, $700 on a credit card. Paid off $700 on the credit card. I opened up a secure credit card. And then the last $200 I spent on myself, and I bought a red dot. Now, spending $1,000 on something that I needed versus $200 on something that I wanted. I say that was a good financial decision. Because I could have easily spent that $1,000 on something that I wanted.
So overall, you feel like so as a whole, taking everything you did, you feel like we don't even know when the quarantine, all this stuff officially, like when all this stuff officially going to be over. But Like, do you feel like you're ahead, behind, or like you broke even? Like, take everything into consideration.
I probably broke even.
Bro.
I still, but like I still, saved a good amount, but I still broke even because you got businesses around here giving crazy deals during the pandemic, crazy deals. So I couldn't turn them down. Um, but I still broke even because I didn't spend as much money as I would have if I would have paid full price. But
Fair point.
I ate, the rest going to the restaurant thing cut out. So I was eating in, buying groceries. Now you can still go to the restaurants now, but I'm so used to eating at home. It's like, wow, I'm cooking better than these than some of these restaurants out here, and I can save more money. I can save money, but sometimes you gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Because you get tired or you forgot to take the meat out the night before. But I'm gonna stay at home. I'll stay at home, cook better. Same, the same shit. Steaks and burgers and
But it'd be better because you made it at home.
yes,
Yeah.
because I cooked it perfectly. I don't got to worry about nobody breathing over my food. You know what I'm saying? Not washing their hands. Look, we went to this. It's like a little breakfast spot last Sunday. Like, so I went to the bathroom. One of the line cooks was in there. He washed his hands probably about 10 seconds. Now, nigga, 10 seconds is you can't sing the birthday song in 10 seconds. All right. So you still got shit on your hand. It ain't like he went to the regular store either. He was in the full bathroom, full you could put a wheelchair bathroom in there, like that one. So he ain't washed his hands long enough. So that's one of the reasons. Like I don't want E. coli. I don't want to catch E. coli and corona when I go out to eat. No.
So did you leave immediately?
My order was already placed.
Man.
I was starving, but I'm like, damn, man. I didn't want to tell the people I was with because it'll probably ruin their appetites.
Yeah, but you might have saved them from E. coli, like you said.
They survived. They good.
Let me say, Amanda said, spending way too much on takeout and DoorDash. Oh, so Amanda, I'm assuming, and anybody else in the comments, y'all can feel free to jump in too. Let us know how y'all feel about y'all finances as we're potentially in the middle of the pandemic, or the middle of the pandemic, I guess, because we ain't gonna have no cure for it, a while to go. So,
and we don't know
like,
what it's gonna
be. So how do you feel about your finances? You ahead? You breaking even, or are you behind? Amanda, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that you are probably breaking even because I don't know what you was doing before, but if you was going out, to restaurants and bars and stuff, or well, I don't know, she still said takeout and stuff, takeout and DoorDash. So, Amanda, you might be behind. You just added DoorDash to your list. So you might be. Oh man, the DoorDash fees are ridiculous, by the way.
It's ridiculous, but they got to make their money somehow, and that's on you being lazy and I want to go to the store and get it yourself. But the thing I don't like about DoorDash is if you got a problem with your order, you really can't contact them directly. Well, you can't even contact the restaurant directly because you ordered it through DoorDash. So now you got to go to DoorDash to get your money back. I don't really like that. And sometimes they take too long. Your food be cold. That's why I said eat at home. It'll be fresh.
Amanda said that she's behind for sure, no question. So for me, I think that I don't know. I probably broke even. I don't know. I probably broke even, but I feel like I ended up a little bit ahead based off of one. I bought a house in the beginning of a pandemic, so
Oof.
Yeah. So all my stimulus money and all that stuff went into the house, which is great. It's a great investment and all that good stuff. So that would take you behind. Money that you put aside. You put it for closing costs, down payment, all that stuff. But then I did some. I've been having a pretty positive overall, like investing wise, pretty positive half a year or so. What is this? Just It's practically September, so I've been having a pretty positive 8 months. Say 8, almost 9 months. So I feel pretty. I feel like without that part, I probably would have been even. But I
Hmm.
feel pretty good about it so far. So I'm gonna say I'm slightly ahead. So we got So it's good though. I feel like I'm a little bit ahead. You feel like you broke even. Amanda said she's definitely behind.
See,
No question.
see, with what you bought, it it has the it has the chance to appreciate. You know what I'm saying? So you spent the money now on the house and you put money into it. That hurts your pockets, but you never know. A few years you could flip it, and then you'd have made 166% of what you put in. See me, the purchase I've made is
I'm hopeful.
depreciating, huh?
No, I just said I'm hopeful. You said 166%. I'm hopeful.
Hey, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for you. I'm on your side. But what I bought was a depreciating asset. So, I had the car I was driving was a used car. Smart, smart to get a used car, but it was breaking down on me. A lot of stuff was wrong with it. So I said, you know what? It's time for me to flip. So I sold that car for 1,200. I had to put 1,000 down. This all happened in the same day, but I ain't bragging. I'm not bragging about that. But I sold it for 1,000. Then made the deal. I sold it for 1,200, and then I had to put down 1,000. So I put down 1,000, and I was good. So, but now I got something that's depreciated. And I'm thinking like, damn, like okay, it's cool because it's new, but at the same time, I'm not gonna get as much money that I'm putting in. I'm not gonna get it back. So
Yeah, cars. I mean, it's the old ad is like, as soon as you drive it off the lot, it immediately is worth less. And it's pretty much true. You know what I'm saying? Like, however you look at it, it's pretty much true. Um, so yeah, I think. See, I don't know. Like, so I just turned 30, and I just wonder how, you know, my finances would have been like. Let's say I bought a house in my 20s, or I bought a house. I did buy one in my 30s, or if I waited till later to buy one in my 40s. I just wonder like how the finances would have been different. You know
uh,
what I'm saying? As far as like, would it be like, so you buy a house in your 20s? Let's say you take the full 30 years to pay it off. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll have more time, like as a person. You know what I'm saying? You'll be closer towards the beginning of your life than the end, typically. So you have more time to pay it off, and start a family and all that stuff. Get all that stuff out of the way kind of early. But are you more prepared financially when you're in your 30s? Like, are you further in your career when you're in your 40s? Like, so would it be a better investment time then? That's something we definitely want to go over with our guests. Uh, because
yeah, we do got
I'm
somebody coming on the show. Like,
different.
we try to tell y'all all week. I don't know if y'all seen it, but we do have a guest. Like, please,
Let me
please stay tuned in for that. But but
let me
back to
catch.
what you was back to
No, go ahead.
back to what you
Go
were
ahead. Go ahead.
saying though. Right before the pandemic, I had a mishap. Like I was in my room, I was cleaning my room. I had moved the table. I had broke a window in my room.
How you
And
do that?
that was like right after Christmas too. Well, my room is my office slash room is usually dirty, so I said since I got some time, I clean it up. But the window in my room is old, so what I'm saying, the glass in them break. The rest of the windows in the house is new. So when I did that, I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do? I broke my goddamn window. So I'm looking online. I found this spot. It said 189 for installation in the window. Huh, really? 189? I could possibly do that. So I hit them up.
What kind of window you get?
They got the tabs on it, so somebody can't lick it from the out. If they try to lift it from the outside, it only goes so much. You need them security ones.
I agree.
So I grabbed one of those from Premier Window and Door. Uh, the owner, his name is Dave, real cool, real down to earth. He told me, give him some time. couple of days. He'd be in my house, do some measurements, came to the measurements, came back the next day, knocked out the window. Everything was good. So I highly recommend them. That's a website down there, premierwindowdoor.com. And I got the phone number 440-313-1498. So most definitely check them out. Most definitely check them out.
Shout out to Premier Window and Door for sponsoring our show. Ms. Granberry said, I did not spend monies during the pandemic. However, I gained weight because I was doing more cooking. Our finances were pretty good because we weren't spending money, wasn't going nowhere. So that's why I agree too. I feel like people would not have been behind for the most part. You know, so I know everybody's situation is different, but if there were no places to go, you know, at the time you couldn't go to bars or restaurants and stuff. But as we've seen, you know, on one of our shows in the middle of the pandemic, we talked about how alcohol sales were way up. You know what I'm saying? Like certain extracurricular activities were up. You know what I'm saying? Like certain stuff was up, certain stuff was down. So, you know, but I would assume for the most part people would be ahead, but people just be ignorant when it comes to finances, like as a whole. So I shouldn't be surprised. Like I am, you know what I'm saying, with people not going nowhere. And I get it, like unemployment, how the unemployment rate was. And, you know, but people that was unemployed for the most part, I don't want to say for the most part because I don't really know, but people was getting that extra money on top of like a stimulus check and all this stuff. And you think people will be saving for a rainy day, but people don't think like that.
No, if you used to living off $2,000, let's say somebody making $2,000 and you're on unemployment, now you're making $4,000 a month. I mean, what you gonna do? You gonna spend that extra too? Because you living off, you know what I'm saying? You living off two. Well, I got an extra two. Let me buy this. Let me buy that. I need this. It'd be a lot of stuff that you need, and you don't realize it until you get some money in your hand because you must definitely spend it.
I mean, I don't think I've ever wanted to be more temporarily unemployed in my life. When I seen the numbers that some of these people was, you know what I'm saying, was bring an extra, like whatever your unemployment is, and you know, it varies for you know, whatever job or however much money you make, but an extra $2,400 a month.
That's a lot.
Please, please, like you know what I'm saying, please let me off. Like just give me like 2 months of you know what I'm saying, like we just gotta save money here. Cool. Let me volunteer and I'll sit down for 2 months at home and get my house together. Like exactly what I want, whatever. Like man, I've never in my life, like it's the most insane thing ever.
And say so.
And yeah, man, that's okay. I like to think so, but knowing me, like I would have been reckless in the stock market. I would have been.
No, you would have been.
I said the right thing because you know what I'm saying, like that's what I would want to do is like get my house and stuff exactly how I wanted, whatever. But man, knowing me, if I had some extra couple $100 a month, now I'm reckless for a little bit. Not with everything, but just whatever little extra money I got. Like I got some long-term stuff that I'm keeping. But everything else, I would have been like airlines, yep. You know what I'm saying? Like
you would have been
cruises, man. They got to come back at some time. You know, I've been talking all type of stuff, man. So
Saudi.
That's terrible, man. So I said, people were not saving their money. Once they receive that money, yeah, everybody got a new car. And look, everybody get cars around tax season anyway. But like this is like tax season on steroids, man. Like everybody had a new car. Like it's 30-day tags for everybody. Like I've never seen nothing like it, man.
I've seen 30-day tags I've never even seen before. People writing the temporary tag number on just a piece of paper, cardboard, put it in, you know, in their windows. Like, there's not enough temporary tags to go around. It's crazy.
It's the greatest thing ever, man. So with that being said, we want to bring in our guest, man. Man, hopefully we can learn some stuff and not be so reckless and learn how to save, and so we all can come out ahead. Like Angel, who said she ain't been spending nothing, uh, except for she just said that she's been shopping and spending on Amazon because she was bored. So let's find out how not to be bored. Let's bring in our guest. This is so ridiculous, man. So let's bring in our guest, Eric Tolbert.
How are you guys?
Hey, how you doing? Welcome.
So wait a minute, Emmanuel. I gotta tell you something, right? You know how you said you said how you just bought a house at the beginning of this pandemic. Let me tell you something. The last time that we had this great big recession back in 07, 08, I bought a house in October 07, and the market went to shit in November of 07. And it just flopped out, and this was a real estate crisis, right? So you know that 160% you talked about? Poof. I'm not lying to you, right? I'm not lying. I put, big chunk in, and then even worse, because I'm self-employed, right? I'm still working, but nobody won't talk to me, right? And then my wife got laid off, and I'm like, man, and you're a financial advisor. You should have seen this.
Right.
You should have seen this coming. But,
I think back.
You learn from an old man to get to the point where you're wrong. Now I'm fine, okay. But then, man, I was sweating bullets, right? I was sweating bullets.
That's understandable. They talking about market crashing, all of that.
And to answer one of the other questions you said about, when the pandemic gonna be over, let me let you know a little secret, right? Mm-hmm. It probably will not be over until this time next year, or maybe even a little bit later, into the fall of next year.
Oh wow!
Now, think about it for a second, okay? For this pandemic to go away, right? They got to develop a vaccine. And there's a hardcore 35% of the population that will not take that vaccine. So even if they develop the perfect one, which would be a miracle if it worked out the first time around and come out with it now. That would be an absolute miracle if they could get that done. Then people won't take it, and consequently, then if people don't take it, it won't affect it. So really what's going to end it is you get enough people to actually take the vaccine, and enough people have caught the disease to become immune to it. And that will probably be the latter part of next year.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I was telling people, I'm a real big science guy, and everybody like, listen to the president and all this stuff, and within 6 months we'll have this. I'm like, dude, like, do you know how long just the trials, so not the science to actually finding something that potentially will work, but just the trials, how long the trials are? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, you looking at, and this was I bought my house in March, so this was just maybe early March or so. And I'm like, man, like, you got a year minimum of trials.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's in a poor world,
I did mention one other thing too that I was reading about, right? A lot of the side effects don't come about to 6 months to a year later.
Oh no!
Seriously, it doesn't. So how can you get enough people to take it? How can you know whether it's safe until you really don't know until 6, 9 months, a year later? Because I've been reading about this kind of crap, right? The first time they came out with a polio vaccine, it was killing people. It was killing people.
Right, so that 35% you was talking about, they right. I want to be a part of the 35% that's not going to take it.
Well, I tell you what, I will take it, but I ain't gonna be the first one. A whole bunch of people before me, though. I'm gonna get the first shot, though.
Right.
And I'm gonna smash the house. Right? So anyway, I really appreciate you guys bringing me on. I really love talking about, what I do, and I just sort of stop here for a second to see if you guys have any questions of me or anything else you wanted me to sort of talk about.
So we can just I just kind of want to jump right into kind of what me and you have been talking about. Just I think you put it perfect. Like I think on one of the emails was like just smart money habits. You know what I'm saying? Like just what to do. Like, because it all starts with that, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I was talking about, being responsible, putting money into my house or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if I had extra money, I was talking about being reckless, which is not a good habit to have, you know what I'm saying? But it all starts with that. It all starts with allocation of funds and where to put some money and stuff. So I think I say we start there.
All right. Well, let me tell you what I sort of counsel my clients on, okay? And this is what I really try to work with them on, okay? So first off, no rational human being is going to go to work every day and then save every nickel of that money. Ain't gonna happen. You are not going to reward yourself right now. So then really what you need to do is get really good at setting a budget for yourself, okay? And then making sure that when you complete that budget, that you put something in there for short-term savings and then also for your long-term savings. And then anything else, it will be what I would call discretionary income. And then you just spend that money. You can have what I call guilt-free spending at that point. Then you are putting money aside for your short-term goals. You're taking care of all your bills. And then you turn around and you can spend your money, have your fun, right? And I will tell you like I tell everybody else, right? So here, I'll give you a secret to becoming filthy rich. Develop a job that you like to produce an income, spend less than you make, save the difference, and live. It's truly about discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And the first part of that is really all about developing that budget for yourself to make sure that you can stay within that budget. Now, the problem is it takes a while for you to, to hone that budget in till you can feel comfortable with it, right? Mm-hmm. But once you get it honed down, and I'm not gonna say it's an absolute thing, because at first it will make you feel that you're punishing yourself. Because I'm gonna tell you what the self-talk gonna be, okay? Man, these folks is pissing me off at work. I deserve this. And when you start hearing yourself say that to yourself, you know you need to stop, get a beer, and think that, right? And just calm down. No, seriously, you do. You just have to really just sort of calm down, right? And then eventually, once you, and the biggest part of it is what you want to save for those goals, okay? Shift it in your mind to where it's going to be like your mortgage. You're going to do it every month. Mm-hmm. And then once you do that, if you get through the first 4 or 5 months of that, it just becomes automatic to you. And you'll think, why didn't I do this earlier? Mm-hmm. But there is a pain point, right?
See, I have peer pressure. I got my wife. She puts a lot of pressure on me, right? So I remember I was saving up. For a car, right?
Yeah.
I was saving up for a car. She said, "You cheap. You being real cheap."
I know.
I'm like, so when she said that, it set something off of me, and I'm spending here, I'm spending there. They say, I just spent most of that car money that I'm trying to buy. And I'm like, wow, now I got to wait to buy a car.
Remember what I just said? You said, that's what you said to yourself. Damn, I'm working hard all week. I deserve this now. Right?
You're right.
I know. Because, see, everybody goes through, and economics, we call it cost-benefit analysis, right? And the first thing you think to yourself is, will I get more joy by spending this money right now versus thinking about whether I can buy more stuff later? And I'm telling you, most people, they say, I can get it right now. Mm-hmm. But what they don't realize, though, what they haven't, okay, I give you the technical term for this, it's called an opportunity cost, okay? But what that really means is this. If you had saved that money and had some interest to go to it, you could buy more stuff later. Because the only reason why you save money when it comes to retirement is so that one day, wherever you're working at, and I know you probably really enjoy your job, right? But at some point in time, you go, I'm sick of this.
Exactly.
So money just gives you the choice to be able to move on. Whereas if you don't have the money, you don't have a choice.
I had a choice. I got you. That makes perfect sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like, like time buys you options. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you got enough time where you can make different decisions. But if if it's crunch time, then, you might have to go a more direct route, just in general. I'm just speaking in general.
That's true.
But time buys you options. So I think you're that's a pretty good plan. Now, so how do you go about implementing it? Like so do you said think of it like a mortgage payment? So should that be how you set up your savings? So your savings should be your short term should be a fixed amount per paycheck. Your short term, long term, along with your bills, your mortgage. Like should you look at it as like an actual bill, like you're paying yourself?
So, well, yes, that's actually how you should do it. But you asked me a more deep question about how do you figure out what amount you should set aside into it, whether it's a fixed amount of stuff. Okay, so I generally tell people, if you can get around 15%, whatever your gross pay is, and figure out how to save that amount, that's a real good, that's a sweet spot, okay, to be able to make sure that you can get whatever you want. Normally, if you can set aside 15% of whatever your gross is, that'll help take care of what I will call your emergency funds, right? So when you bust out the window of your house, I don't know, the refrigerator go bad.
I had that happen.
And then you got, and so
I don't know how you know, but he got 2 for 2 right there.
So here's the thing, right? When something bad go like that, right? I'm gonna use the refrigerator go bad, okay? So your choice then is, don't buy food and put it in the refrigerator, or put it on the credit card. What the hell are you gonna do? You gonna put it on the credit card. So then what happens when you do that though? That I'm gonna just call it $1,000 you spend for that credit, for that refrigerator.
You're on the money.
That $1,000, by the time you pay that damn thing off, is $1,500–$1,800. And the idea is, if you could do in your 15, if you could actually ratchet it up to 20%, you'd be really in the sweet spot. But it's baby steps where you got to get that done, though. Too, you just can't do that overnight, right? But my point is, once you do that, you become what I would call a net saver versus a net borrower. Because then if you're on the saving end, you funneling that money to folks that can't handle their budget and throwing everything on credit cards and stuff, and you getting the interest, as opposed to you being on the other end of that where you paying interest to the other folks.
Right. Okay. Okay.
That makes sense.
Dude, I'm taking notes.
So can I get into one subject you sent me the email on that I am really passionate about, okay? You asked me about the fiduciary duties for financial advisors like myself and people in my industry, period, right? And that's a real sore subject with me, and I'm gonna tell you why.
So wait, before you go into it, just explain to everybody like what that actually is, and how important it is before you say how you feel about it.
Okay, so what that really means is this: is that under the current rules that we have to operate under now, it is mandatory for me to give you all the upfront information to be able to know if I have any conflicts of interest, to let you know how much I get paid on any kind of investment, right? If I've done some dumb shit with, with people, and I have to be able to direct you to the websites on the government websites so you can see what I did, that sort of stuff. So I want you to think of it like this, right? In banking, it's called asymmetric information. When you go to a banker to try to borrow money from the banker, right? It is in your best interest to never tell them about nothing about you, as little as possible, right?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And that's why they dig so much when you go to get a hold of them, because they know that's the case, right?
Right.
Now, from your standpoint, you coming to me. I got all the information. It's a matter of me deciding if I will give it to you or not. You to make a good decision. And sometimes people in my industry would hide the information. And that's why everybody would be pissed off at us. The fiduciary rules made it where we all have to divulge the information to the people up front now, to give them that information so they can know exactly where we're coming from. We have to disclose all the fees for the accounts, how we get paid on every investment and that sort of stuff. That make sense?
Yeah, it does. So yeah, when did those rules start?
Okay, so here was the thing. It actually started under the Obama administration, but they did it under what's called the Department of Labor, okay? And the Department of Labor only handles stuff for like IRA accounts and retirement accounts. So this was the situation that we were in at that point in time, okay? If you bought an IRA account from me, or I was talking to you about your retirement account, I had to divulge all that stuff. If it wasn't an IRA account, it was really like, here's how the rules are really set up. You know how you said you wouldn't bought that car? When you buy a car, basically what that salesman, his duty is to give you a product that's good at the time of sale. Once you pick that car up a lot, it ain't his problem anymore. Right. They done. They paid, they out.
And that's exactly what they do.
That's how it was for us on what we call all the other investments outside of IRAs and non-qualified accounts. We had to make sure that I basically was not taking your grocery money. Right. Once you took it, it was on you. But that whole thing, it was no different than you buying a car, a wash machine, anything.
That's so crazy, man. It's crazy.
But starting actually at the end of June, it goes across the board with everything now. So now we have to do it with everything, which is what I thought we should have did in the first place. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I'm so passionate about that, right, is I decided when I first came in this business, right, I was going to operate completely differently, right? Because I knew that was the reason why people did not want to deal with us, because they couldn't trust us. So I would be the one that would be an open book the whole time. Because in my logic then said, if I do that, you will go around and tell your friend, I finally found one that's actually honest. And you tell everybody about it. So it would make my job in the long run easier.
So much easier, right? Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's why I've always been so passionate. And quite frankly, the other thing that used to bother me when they would be fighting over, whether they want to implement those rules, I used to always think to myself, if we in this industry didn't do bad things, there'd be no need for the rules.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So what you said was something I didn't know, that is relatively recent, like you said, under the Obama administration. You would think
it actually got nixed during the rules that the Obama administration put into place, got nixed. And then I don't know, I think it just slid under the radar screen with Trump, and he wasn't paying attention. He's too busy, tweeting or something like that. and the rules came in under, remember I told you before it was under the Department of Labor?
Yeah.
Right. Now it's now it's under the broader umbrella of the Securities and Exchange Commission, and they regulated everything for it.
See,
all products.
Okay.
so you hear a lot of stories about like athletes and celebrities, that got, took to the cleaners and stuff like that. Like, how does something like that happen? Even though they're seeing the money coming in or whatever, but how does it get to the point where they just broke? They don't have any money. Like, how does that even happen?
So you'd be surprised. You would be absolutely surprised. It's like lottery winners. You ever know anybody win the lottery?
No,
I'm gonna tell you this. Anybody, and I've read these stories over and over again, right? The people that win the lottery get a big chunk of money thrown at them, right? Usually in 18 to 24 months, they file in bankruptcy. Because let me tell you why that really happens, though. This is what you're not taking into consideration, right? You win the lottery here in the state of Ohio, okay? What do they make you do? Stand on TV with that big check.
Mm-hmm.
So then guess what? Guess what happens? Everybody calls you to loan you money.
Mm-hmm.
To try to get that money. You got uncles, aunts, cousins, nephews coming at you. Give me. Come on, kick me out. And guess what happened? And I'm telling you, it don't. And then at that level, I mean, for the athletes, you had a 50% tax break. They got to pay their agents. They got to pay their agents 10, 12%. So net, they get about like 35, 38% of that money.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them get in real trouble by just not paying their taxes.
So that's what I was thinking. So if we, tomorrow Monday, man, we all go grab some gas from the gas station, get a scratch off, and we win big tomorrow.
Look, so let me tell you win big. First thing you do, you call me. Second thing you do is change your phone number and give me that phone number.
I like it. Hey, I like it. I'm with you, man. That as funny as it is, though. Oh yeah, now I've had this number for a long, long time. Like, it's off. This number is different. This number is different, man. So that's what you suggest people do, though. Like, you go immediately and get like accountant, like a financial, somebody's going to help you put the money where it need to go to.
You're absolutely right. The very first thing you should do is probably don't collect that money. Go, and I'm being very serious about this though. Go find you a good CPA to handle your taxes for you. Go find you a good financial advisor. Go find you a good attorney to work with. And that takes a little while to do that. Whatever world you was in at that point, you can stay in that world for a few more months till you get that together.
Yeah.
Then I'm disappearing.
That's stuff that you never think about. So, when you, and I don't play the lottery at all, but, you got some of the people that do. So what's funny is I have the same thought process, but about the stock market. Now, granted, I know it's a longer, slower burn, but sometimes I'm like, man, like, just what if XYZ happened and I just end up in a position where I'm able to kind of do whatever it is that I want to do. And like the last thing on my mind is like, oh, I probably should get some financial assistance because I'm a professional at dealing with money at my level for the most part, you know what I'm saying? But when we talk about, you know what I'm saying, $1 million plus, 500,000 plus, you know what I'm saying, like big money, like I have no idea, you know what I'm saying, what to do with that, what to do, like at all. And the last thing I think about is stuff like that. And I think a lot of people forget that, yeah, you got to pay taxes. Like, you think just because you take a lump sum, then you don't got to pay taxes on it. You think all these other people, yeah.
So, first off, whenever they take their taxes out, they only take out 20%, which is what the law requires. But you are clearly going to be in at least 40% or so. So you still got to come up with the rest of that money later on in the year when you file your taxes. And Emmanuel, let me say something else to you though too. It don't have to be. I'm gonna say something else to you too though. It doesn't have to be, that you get like a big windfall from the lottery. Okay, I'm gonna do a little simple math for you. Okay, you said you're 30 years old, right? So you're 30 years old, and I'm gonna just say, for the sake of argument, that you only making 40 grand a year. Okay, I want you to think about this for a second. If you never got another raise in your entire life, by the time you reach 65, do you realize you would have had $1.2 million go through your hands?
No.
Think about
No, it is simple math. But no, I never thought about it. No.
Now, I would argue you should probably talk to somebody to give you some thoughts on that money that's going through your hands.
Let me just say this real quick, just off of what you said. Now, if I'm listening to this, like I'm sold. Like that is one of the greatest points I've ever heard made. Dude, we've been doing shows since 2012. That's one of the greatest points I've ever heard made ever. Was that you don't have to be a large sum of money at one time. Think about the money you have now, and if you was to take that money and do what you're supposed to do in the beginning, like you will be better off. Like I've never, like that is one of the greatest points I've ever heard.
That's won the lottery.
I don't even know it.
Don't even know it. Think about it. 40 grand a year over 30 years. That's $1.2 million. Right?
That's so crazy. I never. It's so genius that it doesn't make sense to me. Like,
you need to probably talk to someone because you don't know what you don't know.
That's very good, man. That's a very good point.
So you make $40,000 a year, and
that's true that you never got a raise in your life.
That's not
gonna happen. It's gonna be at least that amount.
Wow.
But if you don't believe me,
no.
Old like me, and ask them to show them their Social Security statement because it shows you every dollar you made through the course of your life, and add that shit up. Go look at your Social Security statement.
You probably be the I've been working since I was 16. I'm 32 now. Yeah. I need that information. I need to know how much money I just blew away.
So look at your Social Security statement, and it will tell you on there how much you made every year since you've been 16 years old. Add it up. See how much money you have in your hands. Now, 30 is the perfect age to be able to get the knowledge and move forward. But it's actually never too late to do that. I got to be real honest with you. I have run across people that were really jacked up, and I had to take them through a bankruptcy first, but still was able to turn them around and get them to a point where they could retire. And I started with them when they was in their 50s. It took a while to get them turned around, but it can happen. But that's a lot harder. It shouldn't be that hard. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier having somebody like you. Go ahead.
You got it.
And then turn around and get you on the right path. And as long as I can get somebody young to be disciplined, because at the end of the day, remember how I told you how you can build wealth? Develop an income, spend less you make, save the difference to live. You'll be to save a big chunk of that $1.2 million. Because if you think about it, if you did that 20%, you'll be fine. Now, especially because
that's what
you
I'm
think
about to say.
you'll be getting some pay raises over the course of your life, over 30 years time span.
Right.
But I want,
Or you should be.
yeah, and I want you to think of it in the reverse too. Okay, the reason why this is so important. Okay, let's say for the sake of argument that if you need $40,000 a year when you get to retirement to be able to maintain your standard of living, right? Let's say you retire at age 60, okay? And let's say you relatively good health and you live 20 years in retirement, which is not, impossible to do.
Mm-hmm.
Do the math on that one. 40,000, 20 years, that's $800,000. Did you go be spending? You need to put some thought in to get that money together. Otherwise, you ain't gonna never be able to quit.
That's so crazy to me. Like the math is I mean, it's straightforward math. Like, there's no trickery to it. Like, it's just straightforward.
This ain't quantum physics. This is addition and subtraction.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, when you think about it, it's just this is so much money. Like, it's crazy.
But would you say? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, go with the comment.
Go ahead.
I was going to say.
You ain't gonna let me come up on your show, are you?
Yeah.
We need a part 2 already. I could already tell.
All right, so let me see. So Angela Granberry said, "Hello, Eric, and welcome to Epiphany Media. I'm Byron's mom. We attended Hamilton together. She said, good. Yeah, she said, as soon as we posted like a little flyer, she admitted, like, oh, I know Eric. She was excited. Let me see. She said, right. She said, good information on saving money. I started in January of this year. I have 20. She's saying $2,000. You got a period in there. I don't know what you're saying.
$20.
$20 each pay. Yeah, I'm an idiot. My bad. $20 each pay going to my savings. Have not touched it. And I've been banking for 40 years. Like, she's been like in banking for 40 years, and she just started January of this year. $20 each pay.
So and let me just say one other thing too, because I always get this question too with people, right? Which is the best investment to put monies into, right? And I always have to, do a little bit more and getting the basic information from them, because it really just depends on what the actual goal is that you're saving for. Okay. So let me give you a quick example, right? If you turn around and tell me I'm saving this money to buy a car next year, I'm gonna tell you one kind of investment. You tell me that I'm gonna put this money aside for my retirement that's 20 years down the road, I'm gonna tell you it's gonna be this kind of investment. And also, I gotta really just spend some time with you to find out, your level of comfort with investments, because all investments tend to go up and down over the course of the time, right? And it's really what I always tell people is this, right? You will never convince me that any investment is a bad investment. But what happens though is people have the wrong expectation for that particular investment. And then they think it was the shittiest thing in the world. Because they had the wrong expectation for that investment going into it. And it's working with a financial advisor. You can set the proper expectations for the investment, and it will tend to work out given enough time. And if it's diversified, by that I mean, when I say diversified, think of it like this. You ever heard the old saying, right? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's exactly what we're talking about. I always sort of tease people and tell them, right, when I'm trying to get them to understand the concept of diversification, that we all need water to survive, right? Without it, you would die. You get too much of that shit in the ground, though. You took ass under the lake. Eventually it'll be over. I don't care what kind of swimmer you are, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
say because I'll get people that'll turn around and one of the problems that we run across, right, is individuals that will be working at a company and they're getting stock in their retirement account and they start talking about how great their company is and stuff, and their whole retirement account's in one stock. And I just cringe every time. Oh! Oh!
You got you.
Man, I used to work at Sherwin-Williams, and they give you like stock options as part of it. Now you're like, hey, Sherwin-Williams doing this, and Sherwin-Williams doing this, and just wait till 2020, man. Sherwin-Williams, we got a plan to do this. Like I was that guy. Like you were 1,000% right.
So I'll tell you this. I had one lady that started out at Ohio Bell. They worked to and it moved to AT&T's and eventually moved to Lucent, right? And she retired, and I literally was I almost stood up on my desk screaming, telling we can't have it. Oh, it's been a good company. It goes up, goes down, And I'm thinking, and I told that little story about the water, right? Mm-hmm. And when that .com bubble burst, that damn stock went from $70 a share, and it went down on the first tranche when it went down. It went down to 40. So she had lost pretty much 35% of her retirement, and she was retired. And then she let me sell about a third of it. And do you know she wrote that son of a bitch all the way down to $5 a share? Mm-hmm. She froze. Man. She froze. But what a lot of people, the first thing people tend to do when they see something like that, when they get afraid, they freeze. It just it ain't happening. No matter what you say to them, right? And I just felt so bad. So that one I'm like really big on. I'm really big on that.
It makes so much sense. I remember when me and you when we first talked on the phone, I was telling you when I was talking to the financial people or whatever, and I'm like, I just want to. I hate it so much thinking back, like just being young and just not knowing no better. Like, well, I just want to put everything, I just want more shares of the company, this and that. To do is like now I'm not telling you what to do with some money. He's like, but you probably want to diversify a little bit. I'm like, yeah, but it's doing so well, and you got a good plan to do this. And I'm like, so I shouldn't do it? Like, I'm not. He's like, wait a minute, I'm not telling you what you should invest in. I'm not telling you none of this stuff. I'm just saying that you might want to diversify and not just put everything in one basket. I'm like, well, that makes sense, but I'm like, but the shares, look at it though. It just keep going up. I was that guy when I just didn't know no better.
Mm-hmm. I always tell people, right? Unless you at the very top of that corporation and you got the inside information, I probably wouldn't do that. Because by the time you find out, if it's going up, it's fun going up. Ain't so fun coming down though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no question. Me and Byron went through that with some smaller shares. Like over this pandemic, we was thinking about staying in and jumping out and jumping back in. Like we rode the wave, man. We rode the wave. So we're just saying this absolutely sound advice. Unless you're at the top of the company, man, you better just pay attention and don't freeze.
Nope. You do.
Let me ask you this though.
Yes, sir.
So like he was saying, we was messing around with stocks. So I bought what's that, a Novo or something? It was like $6 a share. It went up to like 35. Mm-hmm. But I didn't cash in right then. I waited the next day and it went down to like $20-something a share. Like soon as it made that jump, should I immediately cash out right then and there, or should I wait?
What'd you buy it for?
I was trying to make a quick buck. That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, that's what. Then you go right back to my story I just told her.
You get out.
Well, you did. You went right back to the story I told earlier, right?
Uh-huh.
Look. Okay. So if it's a short-term investment, I can think of very few instances where you want to fund that with any individual stock.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a long-term investment, I can think of a lot more reasons to buy a long-term stock and hold it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because, bro, think about it like this, right? There are many people that have talked about how Bill Gates is, absolute billionaire now, right? And how great it is to be him, right? But you know what? Nobody ever thinks about though. The whole time he's building that company, you know how that stock was going. And what did he do? Held on the entire time. Now, granted, he was at the very top though too, so he had a lot more control over the company. But I'm gonna tell you, there was a lot of people that was at Microsoft that were janitors that walked out there millionaires.
I bet.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Now, what I'm saying is they had put the right expectation on it, and it was a long-term investment.
Right.
If it's a short investment, let me tell you what you should do. And make sure, like I said before, you run your budget. And if you got extra discretionary money, go to the casino. I'm actually serious. I'm actually serious about that. If you just want to have some fun for short term, go to the casino.
Go.
But make sure you paid all your other bills, you funded all your long-term goals, your short-term goals, and you got some discretionary money, and you ain't gonna be spending your lunch money. Shit, go to the casino.
At least you get some flashing lights there. You some noise makers to keep your attention a little bit.
But don't let you lose. You're walking out of there immediately.
Yeah. So let me see. So Angel said. She said. So I guess it's like a two-part question because I want to kind of build on what she said. She said, when is the right time to invest? And should you have a set amount saved before you do so? So that I guess that can be kind of part one. But then part two, I think, like you were saying, like depending on what the end game goal is for different people. Like so, when you're in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s, is it a different level of like aggressive saving or aggressive investing? Like just different age brackets, or is it more of like whatever the goal is, even if you're 20?
So here's the thing that I will say, right? I always tell things in the form of a story. I'm sorry about that, but that's just how I am, right? But think of it like if you're building a house, right? If you're asking me when is the right time to invest, I will always tell you right now and to start now, okay? If you're asking me, what type of investment should you get into first? I'm gonna tell you when you're in your 20s, you wanna build up what I call an emergency fund or cash reserve for yourself, anywhere from that 3 to 6 months of your of whatever your income is, in case something happens that's really bad, like I don't know, a pandemic.
Something far-fetched like that, a pandemic.
Right. We'll just use that for an example, okay? And you get let go, okay? Or let's say, I'll give you another example, right? A storm comes through, tears up your roof, and you got your homeowner's insurance. They pay that, but they ain't gonna pay $1,000 for the deductible. You probably need to have some money set aside, that cash reserve for yourself for that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. Once you have determined what your comfort level is on that cash reserve, then that's when you start putting money aside into other different types of investments and balancing between different types of either stocks or bonds or different types of mutual funds and that sort of stuff. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do you like personally or then I'm assuming you wouldn't have a preference. You would direct your people to doing whatever you just felt was best. But like, do you have a preference for like stocks or bonds?
Both. Seriously.
Both. Okay. Okay.
Boom. Let me tell you why. Okay. That whole concept of diversification I was telling you about, right? I'll tell you a little fancy term we use. It's called correlation. Okay. But what that basically means is this. Typically, let me tell you what happens. Right. If stocks are going up, bonds don't tend to be going up. Okay. But when stocks are not going up, guess what tends to go up? Bonds. So instead of, the ride being like this, it's sort of like this. It's a lot smoother ride.
You can do okay.
And then I ain't got to have a conversation with people telling them, right, that I sort of joke with people and say, look, at the end of the day, right, if it's like a roller coaster ride, as long as you keep your seatbelt on and don't jump out the car, you'll be fine. Some people they have to get out. They can't take it. They try to dive out the car, right? Those are the ones I'm trying to save, right?
That's pretty valid, man.
Tell you one little quick thing, right? I went to Cleveland State, right, and got a degree in business economics, right? And if I knew what I know now, I would have never got a finance degree. I'd have got a degree in psychology.
Why is that?
I'll tell you why, okay? Math is universal. You do it, I do it, we all get the same answer, right? Well, you know what the real problem is with dealing with people on the level what I'm dealing with? Getting them to believe the math. They don't believe the math because it's not what they want to hear.
Oh, okay. How about to say, how is that possible?
Because okay, I give you an example of why do people believe Trump? Because he tell them what they want to hear.
Fair enough.
We all know he's lying his ass off, right? But there's
that's good.
They believe what they find out. Why? Because he tell them what they want to hear.
Oh, that's good.
Most people, this is where they get stuck. They get stuck in not the way the world is, but the way they want the world to be. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, I spent an inordinate amount of my time getting people to shift away from the way that the world they want it to be, to be what it is, which is the math. The math is easy.
So you would get psychology licenses to convince other.
No, I just would try to think it logically. It would be, I mean, like I give you an example, right? Right now we're going through a phase, right? You see my shirt is blue, right? Mm-hmm. We got a hard 35% of the country that said this is damn red. So we can't even agree on what's real right now. But it makes it a lot easier if we all agree that my shirt is blue and move from there, right?
But they want to believe it's red, though.
That's the world they want.
That's so good, man.
So you tell them they're gonna make this and that amount, and they're like, "No, that can't be right because I need to buy this and buy that."
That's what I hear. I hear, "Oh, I want to invest $20 a month, and I want to be a millionaire in 5 years." Oh, okay. We have to have a conversation because I don't want to give up none of my spending.
Right.
I want to be a millionaire in 5 years. And I want to save $20 a month.
But yeah,
no, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But what I am saying is that we have to sort of temper what your thoughts are, and I'll work with them to be able to get them to a point where they can get to that point. But we got to go first.
Gotcha. That makes perfect sense. Let me see. Ebony J, which is she's our resident social worker, psychologist, therapist. lady. She got one of our she got her own show on our platform. So special extra little shout out to Ebony J. She said, so after you save 3 months of income, next is investing? Question mark. Is real estate a good investment? So another 2-part question. Let me just add on to that. So after you answer our question, can you just tell us about your advice over, I guess, investing over saving, or I'm assuming you want to or pay off your debt before you invest? Like, what should be your next step, I guess?
So this is the thing that I tried. Well, let me answer the first part of the question. Real estate is an excellent investment. Real estate is an absolutely excellent investment, as long as you develop the expertise and you have what I call the fire in your belly to be. I mean, if you manage it, like individual homes or apartment buildings and that sort of stuff, you got to have a real fire in your belly to be able to do that one. But it's an excellent investment. You asked me, but I will say this though: if you're investing in individual properties, I will probably have a conversation with you about having a little bit more than 3 months of your expenses set aside, because there are a lot of things that could happen in a real estate investment that could flip you completely upside down. But if you had the cash, it wouldn't be a big deal at all.
Mm-hmm. Extra costs, especially if let's say you flipping houses and you working on a house and something came up. Now you got to come out more cash, and it's
correct.
Yeah,
that's one thing. You get through that whole process, you end up putting more money into the property to be, to get it up to code and stuff. You get your first tenant in there, and they pay you the first 3 months, and then they don't pay you anymore.
Or even I would think worse than that would be kind of an issue that my friend ran into. And he does that from time to time. Is it took longer to get like somebody to actually do the flipping of the house before they can get somebody to sell the house to, or to get a tenant in there. So it ended up sitting for far longer. You know what I'm saying? So all this money that he couldn't afford another investment without getting rid of that house first. So he was kind of stuck at a spot where he was working and stuff, but it was much tighter than I'm sure he would have liked it to be, because of those unforeseen things that pop up.
Insurance on the property in case it burn up. You still got to maintain paying the taxes on the property. You still got to service the debt on the property, unless you bought it for cash. So I'm saying you probably. So again, I will say, every investment is a good investment as long as you have the proper expectations with that investment.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this though, since we are talking about real estate, do you think it's better to buy a house with getting a mortgage or straight cash for it?
That's a loaded question. Again, it really depends on your particular circumstances for that individual. Because also too, there's lots of different things that go into that. Are you able to write off the interest on the home, and what the net amount would be? If you turn around, I'll give you a quick example. I will tell you that here in the city of Cleveland, okay, or in Northeast Ohio, I'll say that, okay, homes tend to appreciate about 5%, if you get lucky, 6% a year. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Would that money be better in the real estate, or would it be better in the stock market? And if you got too much in the stock market, I'm going to tell you that you probably need to be looking at some real estate. Again, that whole diversification thing, I'm going to go back to, okay? So it's just not an easy question to answer without sitting down and getting a lot more information from the person for their specific personal situation to be able to find out if it's the right thing for them.
Okay.
In investing, there is no such thing as this is the right answer for everybody.
Okay.
There is no such.
So
there is.
No, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was done.
I just so some of you said that, and I would think it would be common sense, but something I didn't pick up on until now is when you say diversify, you're not talking about just in your stock portfolio. You know what I'm saying? You're not talking about just in your real estate investment. You're talking about like all of it, like get in, like diversify all.
You have to look at the entire position that you're in with everything. You got to take what we call a holistic approach to it, because you can't do it in silos. If you do, it tends to blow up on you.
Right.
And quite frankly, that's the reason why that in my business, we do financial planning with people, right? So that we can look at all different areas to see how it will affect you in all different areas, right? Because just like you said on that real estate investment, right? That's going to have an impact on your taxes. So we need to look at that. That's going to have an impact on your long-term retirement too, right? We need to look at that. There's going to be pros and cons for each one of them, right? That's going to have an impact on your cash flow. We probably need to look at that too, right? So it's not an easy answer to give you without sitting down and getting a lot more information from you. And also too, even in the worst case scenario, you get into it, you get ill, you pass away. If you got kids or a spouse or something, that's going to have a huge impact on them. We probably need to talk about that too.
Good point, man. So there's so much more to it than money, man. Yeah, there's so much more to it.
It's really just a matter of in that whole process, what I was telling you about with the financial planning, a big proponent of that is what we call an asset allocation, and looking, like you just said, how you diversify across all different areas, right? And the impact that would have on you in the short term, medium term, and in the long term.
So when you diversify your portfolio correctly, then you take a loss in your stocks, but you still up in your real estate.
If you're doing it right, well, that's exactly what would happen.
I never even thought about this ever. And I was like, interesting. It's like,
yeah. So do you subscribe to having? I'm assuming yes, as a financial guy. But how many, like as far as income, how you want to have, you get people like Dave Ramsey or all these people that say, you should have 5 streams or 7 streams of income, different streams. So do you feel? So how do you feel about that as far as like money coming in, but also money going out? Like, do you feel like do you feel like you should be as diverse as possible, or should you stick to, like you said, if you got the fire in your belly for real estate, then you should have some stuff in shares and stocks, but focus on real estate because that's where the fire burns for you. Like, do you feel like you should have like a bunch of streams going out as well as coming in?
So here's the thing, right? I will say this, right? There is no magical formula for everyone to be able to say you should have 3, 4, 5 different streams of income. I know people that have one stream of income doing incredibly well, but all they did was just make sure they maintained that one job through the course of their life, and they got more money than they ever need. So I'm just saying it is it depends upon the individual. Okay.
It's case by case basis.
Right. So and I hate I just don't like when people say that everybody should be this way, right? That's like saying everybody should have a Chevy.
Right.
It's just my head, okay? Maybe I'm white, okay? But it just don't make sense to me.
I agree with you, man. That's one of the reasons why I hate self-help books and self-help counselors, because they feel like they found the formula, and that if everybody just do it this way, you will come out successful too. And I hate it because I know it's not true. Like, this is not true, man.
So,
I hate it.
So let me let you know a little secret, right? I'm gonna tell you one little thing about investing too, okay? Do you remember when the real estate, back in 07, 08, when everybody was buying real estate, right? And making a killing in real estate, right?
Yep.
So, and in every commercial you've seen on TV was always about going in buying real estate, right? So let me let you know a little secret, my friend, okay? If you see on TV a lot of infomercials for buying anything, let me tell you what that's a sign of. Is you should probably be selling that shit. No, I'm being serious. Let me tell you why, okay? Think about this for a second, okay? If you owned a bunch of gold, okay, and you actually thought in your own head that price of that gold was going to go up, right? Would you spend money on a commercial to sell that shit to somebody else? Hell no, you wouldn't. You would keep that quiet. You wouldn't tell nobody about it. But if you thought that gold was getting ready to go down and you're thinking, I got too much of this shit, what would you do? You probably would buy an infomercial and try to sell it, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
It don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. It doesn't make sense. Why would you spend money to sell it if you thought it was going to go up? You keep it for yourself.
It's going up.
You wouldn't tell nobody about it. Your money to grow, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's game right there.
Oh man, Ebony J said she said I bought my first house in 2007. So I was 17, and I was coming out of high school like that. 2008, 2007, 2008. I was coming out. I remember just going to college, man. And when I tell you, everybody was mad. Like, you know, like I just turned 18. Like, so I don't own nothing. I think my mom was renting at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know nothing about, you know, public school system. They don't teach you nothing about investing and stuff. So I have no idea. But man, when I tell you, like, professors are mad, like teachers are mad. I mean, like, angry at kids. You know, we're freshmen. Like, we don't know what's going on, but they're angry at everything. And all they're talking about is the stock market. And, you know, I don't have no idea what's going on, but I just know how many people it affected. You know what I'm saying? I know how they treated us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like a terrible experience, man. I mean, like, you know, I went to college in a different state, so like they angry. Like, everybody is angry. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm a snotty nosed kid that just don't know nothing about like. But you gotta like relax. Like, it can't be that serious. Not knowing that people are losing everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are losing everything. And you know what I'm saying? And I have no idea about it. Like, that's the crazy part when I think about like where we're at now, where the economy is, and you know, 2008 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how, like, I would say how much knowledge I've gained, but just how I look at stuff differently than an 18-year-old, because I had no idea. I'm like, man, it's only money. Like, you'll make more of it. It's money. Like, relax. You know what I'm saying? But not knowing these people are in their 50s, you know what I'm saying? And they was on their way out. Like, they thought everything was good, but that's not the case anymore.
So I want to tell you one little thing that I learned from my father a long time ago. He's been, if you get a handle on your budget, it won't matter how the economy is going to you. It will never matter to you how the economy is going, as long as you got a handle on your budget. And if you ain't in debt, it don't matter, does it?
It don't matter. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
It don't matter. If you have saved money for the monies for your cash reserve and all that stuff, right? Does it really matter? No, it don't matter to you. The most important thing is is to make sure you get a handle on your budget. Because at the end of the day, if you ain't spending more than you making,
oh, you're gonna be all right then.
Good.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
at the end of the day, you'll be fine. And it's really then a matter where a lot of people get into trouble is what I buying stuff for what I want versus what I need. And a lot of people get mixed up in their head.
That's why some people shouldn't have credit cards.
That's a whole different story. I'm serious. I think everybody should really strive to try to just work with a debit card. And then when you go online and look at your statement, take a real hard look at that statement to see where you're spending your money.
Mhm.
And then ask yourself, why the hell did I spend so much on this or that? Or do I need to spend more on this or that?
it's pretty good.
Because at the end of the day, any way you cut it, if you spending a lot on credit card debt and it's not for a business debt, okay, where you're trying to grow a business and you just use a credit card to buy consumer stuff, you just getting yourself in this really vicious cycle because you are buying stuff you want versus what you actually need. I mean,
say it again. Say it again.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The Kardashians got us believing that we need a lot more than we actually need.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram got us believing that we there's a lot of stuff we actually don't need. I mean, just look how Americans live, right? Going and people that's got all kinds of stuff stacked up in their house they ain't touched in years.
Hoarding.
What is it going to be a hoarder?
It's just a excess, like you said. Right? You got so much stuff that they don't use.
Mm-hmm. We got this money gives you like this huge emotional tie to the stuff, and at the end of the day, money will not make you, or buying stuff won't make you happy or sad. Money, only thing it gives you is choices. But in and of itself, it'll never make you happy or sad. People get that mixed up in their heads, I think, a lot. I told you I should have been a psychiatrist.
It's good, man. That's so good. Oh, well, I don't know. Before we get out of here, I just want to find out more, or like just tell us a little bit more about you. Tell us more about like what you do with your company, like whether it's individual based, if it's business based, like just tell us a little bit more about you and your background and
let me start me a little bit about my background. Okay, I pretty much been in Cleveland all my life, right? I spent like 6 years in the Air Force, and I got a chance to leave Cleveland for the 6 years. I spent like 4 years in England and 2 years in Wichita, Kansas. Boy, that was fun. Anyway, and then came back here and have been back here all. And as it already has been mentioned, right? I went to junior high at Alexander Hamilton. And I went to high school at John F. Kennedy. And again, I went to Cleveland State, right? Then when after I got out of the military, I spent the first few years of working really, I was in the insurance business. And I got out of that business primarily because of the fact I got tired of telling people every problem that they had, you need to buy some life insurance for it. I got tired of saying that. I want to throw up after a while. And I've been here since '96, right? Because it allows me to have the opportunity to be able to work with people and give them the full spectrum of all different investments, right? Either from individual stocks, bonds, working with. So it is a very complicated thing, right? Where you got to look at, if a person gets sick, you got to make sure you got the right protections in there for them to make sure that they, can still stay in their world if they become disabled or something along those lines, right? You want to make sure they have able to pass on their assets to whoever it may be if they, be in a car accident or something crazy like that happens to them too. And you got to make sure, that they are, got a long-term plan together to be able to reach whatever goals that they're trying to achieve for themselves. Again, in the short term, medium term, and also for the long term too. So to be able to give them, because money tends to give people a lot more peace of mind. And I just like to think of myself as being like that the quarterback to be able to take in the information from them and then feed them back. I sort of think of it like, don't laugh at this, but I tease myself that I think I got a superpower, right? I take all this financial jargon, right? Hear all this stuff, and then come to people like y'all and translate it so you can understand it. That's my superpower.
That's a real thing, because I couldn't do it.
Exactly.
So, in a nutshell, that's what I do, right? That's
so like I'm always amazed personally at people that like, because I said I'm not good at it, maybe because I didn't put the time in or whatever. But at this point in my life, me and numbers have a hate relationship, and as much as I try to make it better at this point, like it's just not it's not as smooth as I wanted to be. So anybody that can do anything with numbers, accounting, I don't care if you do taxes, like anything doing with number and math and deductions and all this stuff that you go through on a daily basis. Anybody that can do that stuff professionally, like every day, my hat's off to you every single time. I can't do it.
Let me tell you something. That's how I feel about fixing my car. I could do it, but I'd rather poke myself in the eye with a sharp pencil than do it. I would.
Exactly.
This is no joke, right? My dad used to get so pissed off at me, right? Because he was, always trying to get me to learn how to fix the car and all that sort of stuff. And I remember once he just walked away from me and threw his hands up, right? I told my dad, this is when I was a teenager, I said, look, I'm going to make enough money to pay somebody to do this. I'm not going to do this.
Exactly.
You don't even need to teach me this. I'm not going to paint no houses. I'm not going to do that. I'm not good at it.
And it's hard work. When you could use your brain and make a lot more money than physical labor.
That's the way and I like it.
Hey, you like it, yeah, man. Hey, I think that's underrated, man. Like you said earlier about real estate, like having that fire in your belly for it, like that is underrated. I think me and Byron got in trouble. We were talking about social workers and stuff, and Ebony J got on us. She's like, "No, that's not how it works. Because if you ain't got the passion for it, like, she ripped us up on the show one day. So I think that's severely underrated, though.
I tell you another job, right? I think teachers. I don't have the patience for that, right? But I'm so glad that there are people that have the passion to do that, because I think there is no greater job than teaching young children to get them on the right.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not the guy to do that, though.
Yeah, man, me neither. I'm with you 100% on that one.
You know what's crazy? I always thought, if I get a whole bunch of money, like, why do I need a financial advisor? Like, I could do this on my own. It's just money. I'm not gonna spend it. But this past hour, I realized that it's not that easy at all.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, I'll put that same example to you. You said you're 32 too, right?
Yeah.
Man, think about how much money you had going through your hands.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about it right now. It's making me sick.
Through the course of your life, think about how much money you got going through your hand. I would argue you probably need to put some thought into that.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue you probably need to put some thought into that on what you're gonna do with all that money for the course of your life.
We gotta have an immediate business meeting after this show. We gotta put some stuff in order. We need to have a serious conversation. Man, that's crazy, man. This is what I love about what we do is because like some of the people that you meet and they're like just how completely as small as Cleveland is and you know what are the chances that you know my man's mom, you know what I'm saying, from middle school or whatever, like but for like what we do and like just the number of different people we can meet and different experiences and people that can work with numbers, how we can't work with numbers, like some of this, you know, and not downplaying what you do at all, but like something like just like where numbers or finance come easy to you, or like, you know what I'm saying, where this might come easy to us, or you know, like whatever, like everybody got their own superpower, you know what I'm saying, and we get to meet and hang out, you know what I'm saying, for a little while with those people, man. Check out other people's superpowers. It's a great thing.
Right. So I'll tell you this, right? I always have thought to myself, and granted, I'll tell you this, it's because I learned that when I was in college through economics, right? If we didn't diversify like that on our jobs and stuff, guess what? We'd all have to be farmers, because otherwise you'd never be able to survive.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
We would all have to be farmers.
Dropping gems, man.
It's a good thing that you good at what you do. You do you, and I do me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then we all help each other out. Because that's nothing I don't want to do. I don't want to be no damn farmer either.
At all.
I don't mind no manual labor, but I don't want to be in no fields all day.
Exactly.
Ancestral flashbacks, if you know what I mean. I don't want, you know.
I'm glad that there are people as a farmer, because otherwise, so I don't have to do it. Go to the grocery store and get that stuff, right?
For sure, man. I don't want those ancestral flashbacks. I don't need them.
Well, Eric, thank you for joining us today, man. This was most definitely a pleasure.
I hope I was able to bring some value, and even though I was laughing and joking around and stuff, right? But guys, I mean, I think this stuff is really kind of important, and I really do appreciate you guys inviting me on your show.
Thank you for coming on, for sure.
Man, that's no problem at all. I learned some stuff. I'm sure B learned some stuff. The audience seemed to be, saying that they were engaged and asking questions, and a lot of the people had questions that you end up answering before they can even ask them. So, we just appreciate you, coming on and just giving us some information, and like having you back on for a deeper dive into certain things or a specific topic. I think could only benefit everybody.
Again, I told you that before. I really have no problem with that.
Okay.
I like I mentioned, I see this as my superpower, and I think that in all sincerity, I really want to make sure that people are making much better financial decisions for themselves, and that will be a much better world that we'll all be in if people make better financial decisions. Because you're absolutely right. It's something that's just not taught in school. And I think it's kind of important. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. No problem at all. And I'll definitely be in touch. And we'll definitely you hooked now, man. So I'm gonna use you as a resource. So don't be ignoring my emails and stuff.
All right. You read my emails and I send them to you too, then, okay?
I got you.
All right.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right. Man, that's super dope.
Yes.
That's super dope. Man,
I could listen to that all day.
Yeah, like it's so much. You know what I'm saying? Like it's such a thing where it's something that you like ignorant to, but then like when somebody able to like put it, you know what I'm saying, into the words that you can understand, or just like examples or stories that you can identify with, then that's the truth. Like that's when it all kind of clicks. You know what I'm saying? For me, especially when you start talking about finances or whatever. Like that's the way to go, for sure. Your camera went out, B. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Uh, well, it ain't on the screen.
Yeah, I'm still
There
here.
we go.
Yeah,
All right,
check me out.
just making sure. All right, but no, man. Like I really enjoyed it. I hope y'all in the audience. I hope y'all enjoyed it too. And as long as you guys enjoyed it, we'll definitely have them back for some more conversation. And just different financial topics. Like, but I think the information that he gave us was great as far as budgeting. You know what I'm saying? Like investing, being diverse in your investments, real estate. Like real estate, what he said about real estate was something that I always believe. Like it's never bad. Like it's better times, of course, but like having land or having something tangible that can never be taken away from you is definitely the way to go.
Mhm.
So I've always been a big proponent of that, and he just spoke to it. It's great.
For sure. When he was talking about diversifying your portfolio, like you said, I always believed it was about stocks, because it's used commonly with stocks all the time. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not, really what it is. You got all your eggs in one basket, and you lose all that money. Like the story that you told about the lady that lost 35% of her retirement. That's like, wow, you
Jeez.
worked all the years just to lose it in, a couple of minutes, like, which is crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, having real estate, bonds, stocks, retirement savings, like anything I can, so you will, so you'll be good. So you don't lose money at all.
Like
I mean, not
it
lose
makes
money at all, but so you won't be homeless, living on the street.
right. Like it makes so much sense when you say it out loud. When you think about when you think about the stock market, and so how the economy is so up and down, especially through the pandemic. Where if you had real estate, what I'm saying, along with the stock market, you wouldn't feel the pain so much that people was feeling when the airlines went down, or when the cruise lines went down. Like people that lost all that money, you wouldn't feel it so hard if you were diverse in other things that wasn't just the stock market. And I'm impressed. I don't even know what else to say. That's
Look,
impressive.
Warren Buffett came and took all of his money out of the hotels and the airlines, or all that type of stuff. Excuse me, but he put it in something else. But Warren Buffett still has Berkshire Hathaway
Yeah,
real
yeah.
estate. You know what I'm saying? He still has other business ventures where he can still make money. Of course, he lost some money, but it's Warren Buffett. He ain't, he's still,
Yeah.
still one of the richest men in the world. So
Look, I don't got no problem with admitting this. When Warren Buffett got out of airlines, for y'all, hopefully y'all got some interest in stock market crap that we talked about. But like Warren Buffett got out of airlines because nobody was flying because of the pandemic and stuff. I'm like, man, so he got out. Prices dropped so low for like the stock. I'm like, well, the country's huge. Like they're gonna have to fly sometime. Like eventually you're gonna have to fly. I bought so many stocks in different airlines and stuff. For it made a hard charge when they was talking when Trump was talking this trash, and
yeah,
then it fizzled out as fast as it happened. And luckily I wasn't tied to it, so I was able to jump out when I seen them numbers start falling. But yeah, this is Warren Buffett we're talking about. I think he know what he's doing. I'm like, oh, Warren's wrong on this one. I'm gonna be Warren Buffett on this one. Shit, for a week maybe.
see, I mean, I'm sure he has powerful friends. It was like, look, this is gonna be shut down for this long, but they didn't announce it yet. But I'm telling you, so he was like, shit, I can't lose that much money. I dropped down to number 5. You know what I mean?
So let me right. So look, so we only got a couple more minutes here with y'all. We appreciate y'all as always, but while we got y'all, just let us know, like, what do you currently invest in? Like, do you currently invest in real estate? Do you currently do a little stock trading here or there? I don't know the different type of investments. Like, do you invest in bonds? Are you invested in gold? Maybe. Like he was talking about people buying gold and all this stuff, and that's a very good point, man. When you start seeing infomercials about stuff, you know what I'm saying, you probably want to get out of it. It's probably a good sign to get out of it. So, what do you guys currently invest in? We're not sponsored by any investment firms or anything, but there are like ones for beginners and ones where you can kind of play with little to no money, just to kind of get a feel of it. You know what I'm saying? They got some where you can just buy fractions. You know what I'm saying, which is great. If you're interested in stocks and stuff, but what do you do currently?
Let's see. For my stocks, I'm not diversified at all. I only got one, and I mean one investment in the stock. But I got like 7 shares. I'm just waiting for it to sell. And now I learn, as soon as I see that number go up, I'm getting out of there.
Jump out, yeah. Unless it's
immediately.
Look, you want to know what's funny is it's funny that you said that because I'm all invested in one company too. It's a high profile company that just had a split. So I'm actually I'm feeling good right now. I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm having a good day because it's just split this morning. It's 4-1. So if you had 1 share, now you got 4 shares. I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm super excited about that. Whatever that company may be, feel free to sponsor us. But yeah, right now I kind of felt bad, but I'm also not playing with a bunch of money. But like you said, you don't got to have a bunch of money to do the right thing or whatever. So that's gonna make me take a look at it. But yeah, I'm currently investing in one company too, and that kind of just made me think about it when he had mentioned it. So your mom says her 401k. Yeah, that's that's one of those investments that you kind of don't got a say in. Kind of, this is part of your retirement package. And
see, we're gonna have to have a part 2. I wanted to ask them, like, instead of a 401k, is it a better investment where you can take that money and flip it faster? Because they always say, instead of a 401k, you could do this and have more money, and retire earlier.
Some companies, all they have is 401ks. A lot of them flip to like 403bs or something, and that'd be a good question to find out, like, what's the difference in those. Ebony J said, I haven't invested. I'm looking to start a few businesses. Well, the first thing you
started
do,
one already.
yeah, you got a nonprofit, man. Look, so he had his tips to getting rich or whatever, and I'll tell you another millionaire. Some advice he told me was like, this is what he said, and like the older I get or the more I know about Donald Trump, I kind of feel like he might not be as cool of a person as I thought he was at the time. But he said you want to get rich or you want to spend your money but keep your money at the same time. Like, get a nonprofit. That's what he told me. You know what I'm saying? Which kind of sounds like a scam. Like you know what I'm saying? You spending money through the nonprofit, but then you keeping the money because you get the money back, like a tax credit or whatever. So whatever the combination is, he didn't stack it up to at least $1 million bucks. So he must be on to something. But Ebony J, you're on to the right thing though. I think investing. I mean, you already got your nonprofit up and running. Not how you wanted to, but I know it's on the way. And getting a business to add to your portfolio with that, I think you'll be on the right track for sure. I know you had questions earlier about real estate, and you never a bad time for that, like you said.
It's been a good show, man. Great
That's
show.
been a good.
Great show. Hey,
I'm excited.
you know, I got to give a shout out to our sponsor once again, Premier Window and Door. Thank you for sponsoring today's episode. It's been a classic. So, you know, remember the, you know, you see the logo right there. Look down here. It's got all the information. You can go on the website, look at the nice doors that you can choose from, nice windows, and remember, $189 for a window installation going on right now. 440-313-1498. Hit them up. I hit them up, and I was satisfied. You're gonna be satisfied too. That's the Epiphany guarantee.
What's my man's name?
His name is Dave. If you want to be professional, call him David.
I might have to hit him up, man. I got windows in the new crib that I got one window that I need to be replaced.
And the wintertime coming up. You got to save money on that heat.
Yeah. You know, right. Wintertime is coming soon enough, and it's not even a bad window. I just don't like it. And for under $200, man, if you can swap this window out for me, how can you beat that? So definitely shout out to Premier. I know I got the thing behind me, so it's probably kind of hard for y'all to see, but the website and phone numbers at the bottom. Let them know that Epiphany sent you. That's what we'll hear. MJ said I have a non-profit and a for-profit both under ETC. Just be careful. Don't turn to Donald Trump on us. Then we'll have to say that we don't even know who you are. She said, great show. So thank you, Ebony J. Thank you all for watching and chilling with us and learning something. Hopefully you learned something. You got something to take away. Hopefully you had a good laugh or two. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to some growth and hopefully you guys get out there and start investing and diversifying your portfolios and make sure we're a part of it.
Yes, sir. So remember to own your own and diversify your portfolio. That's pretty much it. That's where I'm at. So most definitely remember to own your own so you can have those opportunities
to diversify.
Yes. So yeah, we most definitely see y'all next week.
Looking forward to it, man.
You got something you want to say?
Nah, just looking forward to it as always. Next week, looking forward to chatting with y'all on politics. I promise I'll be more upbeat and not so hopeless. Man. What?
I was about to say, let us know about our interviewing skills. Did y'all like the interview? Did y'all like that? We really haven't ventured into that, even though we did it a billion times with Epiphany Radio. But this is really our first, Epiphany Media interview. But let us know what you think. Maybe you'll plan another one for the next Sunday and the week after. Who knows?
Yep. Or if you got topics that you want us to find expert for, we'll do that. If you want to see less interviews, which I don't even know how that's possible when we only have one, let us know that too. If we can improve somewhere interview-wise, definitely let us know. And y'all better do it fast, man, because we got some other stuff lined up for y'all. So just keep tuning in, man. Like you already know, we appreciate y'all. I said it 1,000 times, but I can't say it enough because y'all make it fun to do this. So like my man said, on your own. As always, salute to the city. Ugh. Shave. Shouldn't have shaved. It looks bad. All right, man. So we out of here. We'll see y'all next week. Porn star look. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing y'all Wednesday talking some politics. If y'all need anything in the meantime, definitely hit us up. Y'all take it easy and we out of here.
Yes, sir.